Board Member Steen?
Here.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Here.
Supervisor DeSclafani?
Here. Joyce, please read the notice.
Oh, jeez. The town, I don't have it with me. The town board of the town of Shandaken will hold a public hearing to amend local law number 3 of 2023, number 2?
Number 2.
To change the exemption, the senior exemption from a 24-month residential period to a 12-month residential requirement. Public hearing will be at 6:45 at 7209 State Route 28, Shandaken, New York.
Thank you, Joyce. Anyone who would care to speak on this change in the exemption? If not, continue signing vouchers, please.
I didn't expect this to be a hotly contested one.
Hey, I know.
Rob?
Rich won't be here, so you want to read the report.
Yeah, I got the email, yeah.
You said you'd speak a lot clearer.
He said mumble in the microphone.
Mumbles.
I wore the suit just for him.
But,
I'm sure he didn't want the sheriff.
No,
request, he didn't.
he might.
usually put it
No,
over
yeah.
there, but, you know.
His fans are very nice, Joyce.
You know, it took me like 7 years to figure out where the switches were for those two. Ellen had them on one night. I go, where are the switches? She was there. Everything all day. Took forever.
Very nice.
What would you got?
Floors look nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to fly up to San Francisco and see if it's like 7 hours with a budget. It's gonna be more expensive. It seems easier just to fly through.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it both times. Kennedy. Speaking Japanese. I didn't have a word of it. I managed. Yeah. Navigating the metro.
Well,
That was an adventure.
so now you can use eSIM. So you just go on
Yeah.
the website and buy eSIM. Directly goes into your phone. So you buy it. So I could use maps. I was doing it to navigate. And it tells you exactly what train station to go to, how long it's gonna take.
And the signage is really good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's an excellent, but it's still an adventure. Because, you know, not a lot.
Yes, they move in on PCH.
To where?
GAI.
And then make it work.
Yeah,
6
yeah.
alleys, 200 bars.
Yeah, the guy, they're both workshops. And one of them was with two different groups. So this one guy went there with him, and I went to Korea as well with him. Where I was, he's got a penchant for finding hole in the wall that are really good, dive bars and restaurants. Like that you'd think twice about walking into. I mean, you go in. He's got a real knack for picking them. It's great to try.
I was reading an article on just being that part of town. It's like what dive bars do. Like there are several actually.
Well, I mean, I have a screen.
I'm gonna go top.
It's not approved official, but I can show it to work. The effect of the requirements are really going to be approved. So it might not help much, but like we are inches and not feet. I mean,
Hey, how are you, man?
when they get to their stuff, it might actually be.
Kyle, we We have to figure out also what date to have the next meeting. Because July 3rd was the idea, but then you got the other thing. We were gonna move to June 10th for the CP.
July 10th?
CPC. The old Mondays are booked up.
Oh, yeah, what about, I meant to look, is there a planning board meeting on July 5th?
No, but the court sometimes uses this for traffic court, and they have a lot of traffic.
Nothing's happening.
Oh, the fourth, that's true, yeah. So nothing there, fifth, well, Wednesday, there's nothing going on. Fifth.
Right. Maybe we do it the
If they
5th.
want to do it now, we're gonna ask them to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that.
The 10th, now on Mondays, when we did the resolution in January, you know, we were gonna skip working on weekend or January, July 10th. We didn't know.
We didn't have a comprehensive plan.
Did you reply?
The third's fine. If we need it, the third's fine.
Wording about who to contact, what to do, summer camp lunch.
What about dropping off?
Messenger. Because I couldn't find your number.
What about donating?
Yeah, people can donate too. It is the video. I couldn't remember at all. I think we should include it. No, not about just donating, but if you need the food for your kids, who should you tell? And how?
Well, Manny. I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe, probably, right? But I think we should find out what that chain is and make sure everyone in the chain knows.
Yeah, so we have a parks meeting tomorrow.
Okay, cool. All right.
Manny will be here.
He's got it. He covered it. We're good. Perfect. Yeah. Anyway, I think George should put it on the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Once we decide, I don't know what the most tactful way to go about
You
it.
gave it to me,
No, I
yeah,
have no
yeah.
idea. Tax not my thing.
Vinny has been.
Yeah.
I look to you for
So,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We want to close the public hearing. Unless
He's got a plan.
Yeah, we're in a minute, I guess.
You're good.
Okay, make a motion, we close the public hearing.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Take that 4-minute break. Open up at 7. Keep signing.
It's only Monday. I was going to come in tomorrow. I still might.
Loving the weather. No.
It's just a little bit warmer. I don't mean to complain. A few degrees, just a few.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it'll be a little warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a.
It was like, what was it, April in the 80s?
Yeah. Wow.
What the hell?
Just a week ago.
What's it? Well, I mean, I'll turn it on. Okay. Sure, yeah. I don't see a lot of Seahawks fan on this side of the Mississippi.
No. Take them all.
You could do origami.
Don't say that. You're right though. You're right though. You did you?
Fun stuff.
It's been so nice not to bring that wood in constantly.
Oh, you have that.
Wood stove? Oh yeah.
Like that.
A buddy of mine says it keeps you warm a few times. Cut it, split it, put it, stack it, bring it in.
My dad, who's of course, you know, it's mid 60s at this point, you know, like,
Mhm.
so he got just trees brought to his house.
Right.
Mom was out.
You're on a lot of them.
What's this? He's like, I'm gonna do it. And so he's been treating selling it.
I guess
and
it's been
axing it. She's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I don't need 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Good on him.
I mean, it saves money, but a lot of pain.
Yeah. No, my dad is of the old, like, builds character ilk.
And it does. I'm
He's
a
not
true.
wrong.
I'm a true believer of that, but
This one doesn't have any.
I think I got enough character going on, enough for the.
Yeah.
I don't need trees to help me. You know.
Like, you go to my dad and be like, really, you're still building on?
Yeah.
Been in the Phoenician
Where'd
Pharmacy?
you lose it?
Right.
Have you been in the Phoenician Pharmacy yet? Me either.
Yeah, it's.
Want to meet the man.
tiresome.
He's only there one day a week. I'm not gonna go in until he's there.
Planning board meetings, he's very dapper.
Yeah. Well, I saw him talk at a couple of them, but I didn't have the one-on-one. I haven't had a chance to say congratulations to him since he's open. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, you really don't have an excuse.
No, I really don't.
Me, it's a whole 6 minutes. It's such a burden.
Wow, I don't know how you'll ever make it.
in town down there.
No.
Although not during the day.
That's fair. That's true. Well, for the action shot again, huh? Waiting around.
They must be mad about something.
What are they here? See, the rest of these was probably, maybe, yeah.
Because Jen's not.
Seven o'clock on my,
Thank you. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all.
Where's my wire? Oh. Board Member Drake?
Here.
Board Member Nysel?
Here.
Board Member Steen?
Here.
Board Member Van Blarkum? Supervisor DeScalani?
Here. Could I have a motion to accept last month's minutes?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please excuse the smell. We had our floors refinished last week. And tonight we'll have a presentation from Simon Strauss and Mid-Hudson Transition about community choice aggregate for bulk buying of energy, namely electric, to give all residents a discount on their energy bill. This month, we're also getting ready for summer rec, hiring staff, and all of the other logistics Manuela handles to make it a smooth outing for the young people. We have some unexpected issues with transportation costs increasing, but after pulling the board, we'll be tackling those budget issues during the fall budget area time. We'll make up for shortfalls with some fundraisers from Kyle and Ellie and all of us putting our heads together. We'll be updating our senior exemption tonight, changing from 24-month to 12-month for residency. And we'll sign a memorandum of understanding with the Ulster County CAP, Central Arraignment Parts for Courts, essentially having after-hours central location at the county court. All the other resolutions are fairly straightforward. Our next meeting, which we have to talk about and discuss, the 10th, we now have a comprehensive plan meeting. We were going to push it because it was the 3rd, and we were going to push it to the next week because of the holiday. But how about the 5th, which is Wednesday?
I can actually do the third. I previously didn't think that I could, but I can do the third if we wanted to put it on the Monday. But
I think we have to because we have to hire all the counselors before camp starts.
I was thinking of doing that like at the end of June, maybe on the 28th,
Okay.
a special meeting, an afternoon. But we could do it on the 3rd if everybody's okay with the 3rd also.
Works for me.
Third's good for me.
Okay,
can do
let's
the-
do the 3rd.
I can do
Okay.
the 3rd.
Our next meeting is July 3rd.
It's right where I want to be for the 4th.
Supervisor report for May for revenues. Cell Tower Medical Arts Building, $2,327.42. AWSMP reimbursement, $1,050. Dog licenses, $60.50. Ambulance fees, $20,130.07. Town clerk fees, Easy Pass, $120. Planning Board, $350. Police fees, $15. Building permit fees, $5,294.20. Pine Hill water rents, $15,000. Phoenicia water rents, $16,000. Zoning fees, $650. Vital statistics, sorry, got a thing tonight, $1,100. Pure Pine Hill water hookup fee, $750. Arch disability refund, $348.91. Higley payment, $272.66. Reimbursement of payroll tax, $581.05. Sales tax, $44,786.97. Stumpage, $7,938.16. STR receivables, $2,403.34. Quill reimbursement, $288.65. Highway income, $516.60, for a total of $119,983.53. Joyce, communications?
Yes, I do have something. Okay, so the most calls I got the last month, guess what? Metal pickup. Sad to say. No, I'm only kidding. Okay, so the metal pickup's going to be on starting Monday, June 12th through Thursday, June 15th. It's been put on the website, the Facebook page, and we'll put it out on the alert system through email. You can start placing out your metal the weekend before, but please do not place the metal out before Saturday, June 10th. Pickup begins on the west end of town, High Mount, and proceeds east to Mount Tremper. Metal only, no household garbage, mattresses, latex or oil-based paints, no oxygen tanks or anything under pressure. Please be mindful of where you're placing items, and they do not block any public or town access ways. If you miss it, we will not come back. Should you need any further questions answered, call Kara at the Highway Department at 688-5031. So again, big thing of the year, metal pickup, June 12th. The water reports for Phoenicia Water and Pine Hill Water from 2022 are also on the website. The short links to them will be put on your next water bills, and they'll be sent out on the alert system to those two water districts. If you're in a water district and you didn't sign up, we have a separate list for that, so sign up so you know how your water is. June 10th, the Pine Cats are performing at the Pine Hill Community Center at 7 to 9 p.m. We have Flying Cat Music has Guthrie's Ghost, also on June 10th at 7:30. And the big thing in town is also Phoenicia Playhouse is going to be running the Addams Family Musical from June 22nd to July 9th. So you can go to phoeniciaplayhouse.com and order your tickets. I think it might be sold out soon. So, and the library is also offering free basic tech help for seniors. You know how we love our seniors. So if they need help with email, internet, Google searches, using their phone, don't buy a senior an iPhone, please. Androids are good. So they will give them help with beginner stuff for that. Their number is 688-7811, or you can email them, which we won't say that. That's it.
Thank you, Joyce. Okay, we're going to take a short, have a presentation by Simon. All right, we're going to exit the...
Should we hit the lights?
Given that it's going to be up on the screen, where's the best place for us to stand and talk to him? Stand or sit, either way. Or stand and talk to him. Okay, we'll just stand here. How's that? Is that good? That's fine. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Do you need to move the thing forward or back to get it on the screen?
Close.
We can move the whole table. Oh, hello. How are you? Is that for me? Is that for me? Oh, okay.
There we go.
Just as you display them. It's roughly about 5 for PowerPoint. If you reopen.
Let's do it for her.
All right. Shall we move the table a bit closer?
Watch the floor. Don't scrape the floor.
Okay, everyone, thanks for waiting. My name is Simon Strauss. First of all, I'd like to thank Peter for inviting me back to talk to you, and Beth for inviting me to talk to you back in January. I'm a relative. You can't hear us?
Yeah, get closer.
Closer? Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So again, my name's Simon Strauss, and thanks to Peter for inviting me and to Beth for inviting me back in January to talk to the Conservation Advisory Council. I'm a relatively local resident. I live in the town of Olive in Shokan, and I'm the co-chair of the town of Olive's Conservation Advisory Council. And separately from that, which is really why we're here to talk to you today, I'm here with my colleague Dana Hall, who's a fellow board member of a not-for-profit that we set up here in the Hudson Valley about 2 years ago called the Mid-Hudson Energy Transition. And Dana's going to talk to you, take you through kind of what we're all about. I wanted to also acknowledge our executive director, Jasmine Graham, who couldn't be with us tonight because there's a illness in her family. Jasmine is recently appointed, started with us in April, and it's important because there's two things that Dana's going to talk to us about. Sustainable Westchester, which is the very first community choice aggregation in New York State, and Jasmine was there for several years, and also the Building Decarbonization Coalition, where Jasmine was most recently, and that's important when we talk about greenhouse gas emissions from buildings and transportation, as well as from energy use, and we're going to cover all of those. So Dana, can I turn it over to you?
I'm going to bring the microphone with me so that you can hear me. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you. It's great to see you all tonight. We'll try to keep this brief because we know you have a long agenda tonight. But I'll do a few slides. We'll talk about the program that we offer. And perhaps there would be room for questions. We'll see. But this is our brief agenda tonight. So first I'll explain who Mid-Hudson Energy Transition is. Then we'll talk about this program that we administer called Community Choice Aggregation, what it is, where it came from, a little bit about its history. And then we'll talk about our version of CCA, which we call Advanced CCA, or sometimes CCA 3.0. And the benefits of that program, and a little bit about a timeline if a municipality wants to set up a CCA, and then questions. So first, Mid-Hudson Energy Transition, Inc. is a New York not-for-profit corporation. We formed 2 years ago, and we are also a 501c3 tax-exempt organization. I copied our purposes right from our certificate of incorporation because I think it sort of tells the story of what it is that we're trying to do. We're focused specifically on the Mid-Hudson region of New York, and we're here to assist communities in a transition for a clean energy economy. We want to support distributed energy resources, meaning solar and microgrids and all kinds of new technology that help us be more green, and energy efficiency in our buildings and our work. And we want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and pollutants and create local jobs and economic development and all around create resiliency. We are purposed, the reason we set up our organization is to administer the program called Community Choice Aggregation, which is what I will explain next. We are one of the CCA administrators. Our authorization from the Public Service Commission is pending, but we should get it within a month. There's a whole process to get approved. You have to go through the State Administrative Procedures Act and public notice and all of that. So we're all the way down that road, and we're waiting for our approval. We do have one client so far in the city of Kingston. We already signed a contract with them to be their CCA administrator, and our office is in Kingston. And that's our website. It's a little unusual. It doesn't end in .com or .org. It ends in .energy. So it's mid-hudson.energy. And you're welcome to visit our website. Okay, so that's enough about us. Community Choice Aggregation is a municipal program that comes from local law. And when a city sets one up, it allows the city to make energy choices and pooling energy supply choice in the contracts in everybody's bills who has an account or a meter in your legal boundaries. And this is something that the state enables, and it's overseen or governed by the Public Service Commission. And when a city passes or a municipality passes one of these programs and adopts them and sets them up, it means that every resident and small business has the opportunity to have more green energy, potentially to reduce their bills, but they also do not have to sign up. They'll be given the opportunity to make a choice to leave the program. So there's no penalty for doing that. There's no extra cost if you want to opt out of the program. The Public Service Commission does not want these programs to automatically enroll people and not give them the choice to leave. So that's a very important thing to emphasize, and that's the opt-out aspect of CCA. But the benefit of it is when you have, 8,000 households in a municipality, and you can get 8,000 electrical accounts all buying power together, you've got that bulk buying power, and then you can negotiate lower prices with the suppliers that sell the energy. So that's why the program is set up to be opt-out, so that you get a larger pool. In some states that have tried to do community choice aggregation where everybody has to enroll and opt in, it's much harder to get those numbers up there because it's, takes a lot of effort to get people to sign up voluntarily. So how it works is the utility it typically chooses the supply for you before you have this program. You look at your bill, and it's up to them who they buy energy from. With CCA programs, the municipality will decide, with the assistance of their administrator, like Mid-Hudson Energy Transition, on the kind of contract they want. Do they want to go 100% green and have green energy supply, or are there other goals that they want to satisfy? So the community gets to decide and buys and builds cleaner energy. They can also own energy systems. They can own a community solar plant and have the credits from that go into the customer's bills in their boundaries. Now the utility will still deliver your electricity just like before. This is all a virtual program. So your wires, your delivery service, when the grid goes down, you're still dealing with the utility. And is that Central Hudson here? NYSEG. Okay, that's what I have, NYSEG too. And so you're still going to get the same bill that you get, but the supply portion of the bill, if you look at your electric bill, it will say the name of the CCA energy that you're getting. And you get to benefit from participating in that choice and helping your community decide what kind of contract you want to enter into. A little bit of brief history about these programs. This map shows you the states that have community choice aggregation. It was first started in Massachusetts back in 1997. New York set up their first CCA in Sustainable Westchester in 2016. And only states that have deregulated energy markets really have the legal ability to set this up. And that means that you've separated, the state has chosen to separate the generation of electricity from the companies that deliver the electricity. And that allows for competitive supply. So you get your delivery from the utility company, but the supply can come from competitive companies, which makes it cheaper. You know, when you compete, it's supposed to bring costs down. So that's the theory of deregulated markets, and that's why these programs work in those markets, because it is about choosing alternate supply. In New York, there are 165 local governments that have passed the local laws enabling CCA, and 68 of them are right here in the Mid-Hudson region. I won't read the list to you. You can all see that. A little bit about the models. So the original CCA model and what I've been describing to you so far about buying bulk electricity, that's 1.0. That's just figuring out, and it also can be for gas, who do you want to buy your supply from? That's 1.0. There are other levels of CCA. The next level up is what's happened in California in the past 10 years or so, which is where CCAs were set up to allow the local communities to start building their own generation and using those generation facilities to supply their electricity for their communities. And then 3.0 is what we're advocating, which is enhanced above the supply contract to things like community solar, energy efficiency in buildings, DERs, which I mentioned before. DERs are just what they sound like, energy resources. They could be batteries, they could be a small hydro plant, they could be any kind of generation that's at the distribution level or at the small scale level, so connected right to your building or to your meter. That's what a DER is. And then the other enhancement that we do is providing for wealth building opportunities for community members. So for example, if we can assist a community in building a new solar facility and allow individual members to buy shares in that like a co-op. So you'd be investing in having ownership and wealth building as part of your energy transition, not just buying your power from somebody. So it's the next step up. The reason that we focus on buildings and also transportation is because of where greenhouse gases come from in the state of New York. This little graphic here comes from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and it shows the sources of greenhouse gases. And surprisingly, our electricity, the plug load, the outlets in our houses and our appliances, that's only 13% of greenhouse gas emissions. So from our perspective, that CCO 1.0, where we're all talking about where are we getting our electricity supply from, that's leaving a lot of greenhouse gas emissions on the table. We want to do more in these higher emitting sectors, in buildings and transportation. So that's why we think 3.0 is important. Here's a little bit of a slide describing what we want to do with homes. We have a program that we're getting ready to launch called Healthy and Resilient Homes. And it's really tricky to do energy efficiency in homes. There's a lot of barriers. Some homes have remediation issues. They might have mold or asbestos or even just a leaky roof. I mean, you can't insulate your attic if you have a leaky roof because the insulation is going to get wet and then you're going to get mold. So what we do is consultations with homeowners and residents to look at a whole house assessment, not just energy, but just their capacity or their readiness to go energy efficiency. And then we help them find funding options to help finance, either through grants, depending on income eligibility. There might be full 100% grants from the state and federal government. The new IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, also has really good incentives. So there's so many different programs and incentives out there, and we want to be the one-stop shop to help homeowners figure out how do I get money to pay for all of this. And then actually working with local contractors to do the work, to do the efficiency upgrades, and eventually the follow-up as well, to look at your before and after, to see how much energy was I using before, and now that I've done this, how much am I using later, and how has it improved my life, the health of my home, and also my pocketbook. We also focus really intensely on the community, and it's funny because community is the first word in the name, community choice aggregation, but we don't want to be a company that just comes in and has sort of a cookie cutter approach and does the bare minimum, like announcement in the newspaper, okay, now your energy supply is changing, and then we leave town. We really want to get people in the community involved. So what we do is form what's called a community council, where we ask members of the community who maybe they're active in other committees or organizations, maybe they're in faith-based groups and churches and they're active in their community and they're excited about the idea of a green energy transition and they want to help. And that council will meet monthly and advise our organization on the choices that we help the municipality make on the program. So we really want to get a lot of input and feedback. We also do what's called listening tours, where as we're getting ready to figure out who's going to be on the community council, we go to the organizations. We go, like in Kingston, there's a great community hub called The Bubble, which is the laundromat, and a lot of community groups set up there. And so we're going to go there and meet with people at The Bubble and talk to them where they are to get their feedback and their ideas and understand what confusion they have and what fears or concerns they have about their energy in their life, how much they pay for energy, and if their air is clean in their home, and if their kids have asthma. We want to hear about all that stuff so we can help it inform the program that we develop. Okay, so for this slide, I'm going to turn it back over to Simon, who's going to talk, because Simon is our finance person, and we have a very exciting new fund program we're going to announce.
Thanks, Dana. So we've set up a subsidiary not-for-profit called the Mid-Hudson Energy Equity Fund, and we're in the process of doing all the documentation for that right now. The reason that's important is because I don't know whether any of you have read about the city of Ithaca, and they've raised $100 million to focus on building decarbonization in Ithaca. And that was supposed to cover the first 1,800 buildings, so they had the funds available, in their case, in terms of no or low interest loans to help people decarbonize their buildings, do the prior remediation work that Dana talked about, and then have the money available for building insulation, air source heat pumps, induction stoves, all the kinds of things that hopefully will make your home better to live in, as well as electrifying, getting off of fossil fuels, therefore reducing greenhouse gases, which was that 32% number that Dana quoted. We're in the process of starting up a fund that will have both grant elements and low-cost loans. The NYSERDA, which is the New York State Energy Research and Development Agency, has a subsidiary called the New York Green Bank, and they just announced that they'd lent their $2 billionth, which I think they've been going for about 7 years now. They just set up a $250 million community decarbonization fund. And we are talking to community institutions like community banks or credit unions to see whether they can set aside some of that funding for us to be able to use, because it's very low interest, 1.5%, 10-year term, 12-year term. So it's a good source of funding. It comes from the state, and it would then be made available through us to homeowners who want to decarbonize their buildings and make them more comfortable. So we're going to use a combination of low interest loans from banks and institutions, as well as grants from foundations. For example, our initial funding for Mid-Hudson Energy Transition came from a local foundation in Kingston, and we plan across the Mid-Hudson Valley to get access to grants. It could be federal, state, local, or private foundation grants. So all of those will go into the fund. The initial thinking is that the fund would be of the same sort of size as Ithaca, about $100 million to start with. So we've got enough of a war chest to be able to go out there and focus on decarbonizing. Our initial goal will be something like in Kingston, about 24%, which is the state's goal to decarbonize 2 million households by the year 2030. So we're focusing on, because out of some 8-point-something million households in New York, the state's focus is get 2 million decarbonized by 2030. We're going to go with the same and hopefully do better than that, but that's our starting point. Okay.
Thank you, Simon. So this is our last slide. This is just a kind of very generic time frame of what's involved and about how long it takes to set up a CCA program. Assuming the passage of a local law, it says month 1. It can take certainly longer than a month to pass a local law, so you've got to back that up until writing the law, going through committee, all of that. But once the local law has passed, then you would begin your outreach and authorization with the Public Service Commission. You have to file what's called a municipal filing with the Public Service Commission that this town has now adopted this law. We're ready to set up a CCA, and here's how we're going to do our public outreach. And then you would also do sourcing after that. That can happen, about 6 months in, where you're identifying the energy suppliers that would supply your contract as well, your electricity contract, as well as the buildings program would begin to launch then, identifying which homes and households need assistance first. And then eventually, maybe about 9 months later, you officially launch the CCA program, where programs begin to become available to the public. So that's a little bit of a timeline. And again, my name is Dana. This is Simon. Jasmine is our executive director, and that's our presentation. So are there any questions, or Mr. Supervisor, what would you like to do next? Do you have questions?
Yeah, if anybody has a question.
Hi. So all of your electricity sources are carbon-free, yes?
So we can offer a 100% renewable product if that's what the municipality wants to do. And what we would do is put out a solicitation or an RFP for electric suppliers to give us a 100% renewable contract. We can also offer option for some people to sort of opt down if they don't want to, because generally 100% renewable will be more expensive, and some people might want to participate and do a little bit less, like 80% or less. So we'll try to have a mixture of products available to keep more people in the CCA, but the goal is 100% renewable, yes.
Do you ever source nuclear?
Not to my knowledge. I do not think we have any. So nuclear energy in the state of New York really isn't available as alternate supply, right? So most of the nuclear energy that's supplying our grid is already bulk supply provided to the utilities. So I don't know of any nuclear projects that would be interested in bidding. And what we would do typically, I think, is work with the community to see which technologies they're concerned about or interested in. But I'm not aware of any nuclear that goes into any CCA supply contracts.
In your experience, about how much have you saved in the utility bills for people who have gone into this program?
That's a tough question, and well, we haven't done one yet, so we're just gearing up and just getting set up. I don't know, again, it's not always about savings, because a lot of the CCAs do this because they want to do 100% renewable, which is not going to involve a savings. So I can't really say that there is a guaranteed savings. When it comes to the community solar option, which we didn't talk too much about here, but one of the things that we want to do, and all of the CCA administrators in the state of New York and about 40 municipalities and other governments are advocating for the Public Service Commission to authorize community solar inside a CCA. So that they call it opt-out community solar. And what that includes a guaranteed 10%, potentially 15% savings on your electric bill. So if we can get the Public Service Commission to reauthorize opt-out CDG, then that's more of a certainty on a savings. And I would just say, if anybody's interested in learning more about that, visit optoutcdg.org. I know it's a weird acronym, but it's a great campaign, and you'll learn a lot about that issue.
Can you just say a couple of words about what you've done with Kingston? Have you selected a supplier yet for the contract with Kingston? And are the rates that you select constant for a year instead of going up and down the way they do something?
Right. So we have not put out an RFP in the city of Kingston yet because we're waiting for our authorization from the Public Service Commission. So what we've been doing in the meantime is just working with the city government on planning our outreach. We're working on populating our community council. We're hiring up our staff, and we have an exciting internship program too that's also partially funded from NYSERDA. We're working on planning our fund that Simon described, and Kingston will be the city of Kingston will be the first beneficiary of that fund, because our fund, as I understand it, Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, will be geared to the communities that sign up to our CCA program. So we're still very much in the planning and forming stage. As to your question about the time of the contract and the rate, I think typically we'd be looking for a 2-year, possibly 3-year contract, and it would be a fixed rate. It wouldn't be variable. Sure, microgrids are a very exciting topic, and there's a very large amount of interest in this region of the state because of how unreliable the grid can be. The way a microgrid works is you would need to construct, it's basically a construction project that where you would have both the capacity to generate power and the capacity to store power so that you can store your own power and use it. There's several different kinds of microgrids, but typically they're connected to the grid anyway, just for emergency backup. I mean, it kind of should be the other way around, right? Because it's more reliable, but it can be connected to the grid. But it can also you just hit a switch and it can be completely isolated from the grid. They tend to be more expensive than, so for example, if you want to put solar on a commercial rooftop and you also want to have battery backup to save that generation and use it at night when the sun's not shining, that's going to be more expensive than if you just build the solar project. So when the developers and the companies who create these projects go to talk to customers, usually what they hear is a concern more for an issue like firm power or reliability than for just saving money. And sometimes that's more important. So for a hospital or for a manufacturing facility or a business where there needs to be refrigeration 24 hours, and if the refrigeration goes down, they're going to lose millions of dollars of product, they're interested in microgrid because, and if they also have a sustainability goal, they want it to be a green microgrid powered by green energy. So does that help?
Yeah, can you make money out of it?
I mean, the companies who build them make money. The companies who buy them to use them, or communities who use them, they benefit in other ways, right? They may make money. I mean, it depends on what they were paying for electricity and energy before they constructed it. And the loss, I mean, the economic loss that would be caused by losing power.
So usually it's the bad guy that talks about deregulation. So it makes me very nervous to just exactly what you're doing.
Well, deregulation in the electricity market context is kind of a different thing than deregulation of like environmental regulations or safety regulations. So exactly, yeah. Normally, right? So normally you think of regulation as a governmental necessity which keeps people safe. It's really about safety and about the environment. But you put that out of your mind when you think about electricity deregulation.
Also the money.
And the money, right. Right. Electricity it's, the electricity world is it's filled with acronyms and terms that usually have a different meaning than in other contexts. But in the markets for electricity, an unregulated market is a monopoly. It's when the utility owns everything. They own the generation, the supply, and the delivery. And monopolies can also be bad, right? Like, because they can control the pricing. Well, no, I said New York's electricity market is a deregulated market. So now the program I'm talking about is very regulated. The Public Service Commission regulates that program quite regularly. All of the administrators have to file what they're doing and have to report on it, and there's a lot of oversight, and in fact, new rules were just issued in January of this year. So CCAs are regulated. When I said deregulated, it was more just about electricity markets, which is a different kind of abstraction that can be misleading. Right. Right. Yeah. No. CCAs are regulated. Absolutely. Oh, Green Mountain Energy a supplier? Yeah. So they're a different wheel in the cog in the wheel. What am I trying to say? They're part of the green energy transition because they are a business that generates power. They might be a supplier. So if they can wheel into, I thought they were a Vermont company, but if they can wheel into New York State and they might want to bid on our supply contract, then they could become part of it. Right. Yeah.
In terms of addressing transportation, so would you be looking at installation of charging stations and also potentially grants or loans to help people buy electric cars?
Yeah, so for us, the work on green transportation is not first on our list. We haven't forgotten about it. We will begin to develop that. But the ideas that we have talked about certainly is electric vehicle charging infrastructure. There's going to be a huge need for that, as you can kind of read the tea leaves of where the market is going, that all vehicles are going to become EVs in just a few years. But other models that we've thought about is not just grants or assistance. I think we'd leave that to the federal government to provide grants, but maybe shared models. So, for example, electric vehicle sharing models where you might have zip car type things where they could be electric cars and a community could use them on a shared basis. That's the kind of thing that I think would fit well with our program. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much. Let's take a 5-minute break. Let them clean up. Okay.
Where's our plug? Is that it? No, that's our plug. Yeah, that stays. You can leave that. We usually leave it right there. No, we leave it there. Yeah, that's true. If you want to feel safer, yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Oh, pass those down. They're from Sam. How you doing, Take care.
Maybe you missed a few.
I went through them when I first got here, so hopefully not.
Thank you, Simon. Do you want any of these? Now.
This is the Shandaken Parks program, which she may turn this way for one of us that says nothing about it. What? What are we
All right, everybody. Let's hope you found that informative, as I did. We're going
Oh,
to
she'll do
move into committee reports, and I just want to chat with the town board a little bit about a few things coming up. Comp plan committee members. Do we want to open that back up again for? We had two members back out, and
You're asking if we want to replace them?
yes.
My opinion is that committee's bloated a little bit. 12 people makes it hard to get things accomplished, but I'd be willing to hear arguments otherwise.
I don't have an argument one way or another. I just want to.
Put it to the committee and see if,
I want to.
check their opinion first before I vote.
We could. I just think I know how at times more people don't necessarily make more progress, but I want there to be a wide range and diverse range of people on the committee.
No valid.
I'm fine with either way, but those meetings are public.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there's plenty of opportunity for the public to speak and to be involved in the process. Like I said, one, it's a large number of people, and it's also an even number of people,
Yep.
which makes it difficult to get anything
Problematic.
If it comes to that, sure.
which we need to be prepared for.
Yeah. Oh, I am.
Historically speaking.
Yes, I'm fully aware. Okay. Does anyone else have an opinion on the subject?
I mean, it does seem to be a fairly large committee. I think if the committee feels that they would benefit from additional membership, then of course, opening that up would be amenable. But
Okay.
if it's already seems to be sizable, I mean, you're the liaison, so I mean, if it already feels sizable,
Yeah.
then
And again, we can always talk about it at the next meeting. Next
Okay,
week, so.
we'll do that. All right. And I just want to throw out about the parking lot, Pine Hill parking lot repaving or paving resolution. Do we want to do a survey? Eric thinks it might be a good idea to do a survey of the parking lot.
Yeah, it's, so Jan's got the community center's property deed.
Right.
And so we have that mapping.
Yep.
I don't think it's a bad idea to get a proper survey done.
Yep.
This could be comments on resolutions, but just so everybody knows, in that resolution, it's not to exceed $40,000. We don't anticipate it being close to that number, but in case we were gonna get a survey, that's why there's extra money there.
What would the survey ascertain about?
Oh, the
Property line.
property line survey.
We don't wanna encroach on anybody's, there's 3 different properties surrounding that area.
Don't pave the neighbors.
Yeah.
Unless it's Angel.
All right, we're all in favor of that, good. That's it. Let's move on to committee reports. Ambulance, Kyle?
Ambulance. May 2023 report, total calls received 42, mutual aid given 2, Town of Olive, mutual aid received 0. The town ambulance was extremely busy as call volume is up nearly 40% for May, and spring projects are keeping crews busy in the time that they are not treating those in need. As the summer season starts coming into full swing, so do those things that can hamper a nice vacation, or staycation, in our town, particularly involving motorized vehicles. Our busiest time for auto accidents is generally the beginning of summer, and our first snow. As the latter hopefully holds off for a bit, be alert while driving and be mindful of other motorists and pedestrians. As always, be sure to have a heightened awareness while driving through the hamlet centers on busy weekends, and if walking about on the road, be sure to walk on a sidewalk or path instead of the road. Walk on the shoulder and facing traffic if a sidewalk or path is not available. Also, consider avoiding the utilization of electronic devices like earbuds, which can cause distractions while walking. If walking at night, increase your visibility by carrying a flashlight and wearing bright, reflective clothing. Stay safe out there. Richard Muller-Liley, Chief of Department, Shandaken Ambulance.
Thanks, Kyle. Building zoning, I'll read it. Building permits 21, certificates of occupancy 5, certificates of completion 7, 2 floodplain permits, 7 fire inspections, building permit fees $9,310, renewals $100, research $900, C of O's $600, fire inspections $175. Kevin, police?
Nothing of note. There was a total of 241 calls, 63 summons, 15 arrests, and a huge thank you to the police officers in town for helping us with a smooth and safe Memorial Day parade. They directed all the traffic.
Thank you. Phoenicia Water? Rick left. Pine Hill Water? Nobody's here. Kyle, Museum?
Museum. Shandaken Historical Museum report for May 2023. As well as 36 visitors, we've had multiple emails, people requesting directions to places they remember visiting as a child, and property searches. Ancestry searches are coming in abundance as well. I'm struggling with finding John N.C. Kiersted from 1814. It's taking time. We also have maintained our social media presence and are sharing our history on multiple sites. Our friend and author, C.C. Davidson, has been doing much of her research on slavery and the Underground Railroad with the help of the museum and will be giving a presentation at the Interpretive Center in Mount Tremper on June 9th. I was contacted by Robin Tannenbaum, assistant to a famous celebrity who wants to remain anonymous in regards to her father working as a counselor at Camp Cascade in Highmount in the early 40s. She's requesting any and all information I can dig up on him. He tragically died here when she was a baby. This project is a huge undertaking. We've been out visiting the properties and assembling history on each for our event on June 24th and 25th. The Nor'easter Metal Detection Group, once again, has 50 members signed up to hunt history in our town. They arrive Friday the 23rd with their families and leave late on Sunday. We look forward to seeing our friends again. We've received quite a few donations, 2 family Bibles, 3 Crystal Spring Water Company bottles, an original Bel Air pamphlet, a ski map for Pine Hill Support Club from before Bel Air opened the ski center, 3 envelopes of photos, and a few portraits as well. Vinny was here briefly, left for a week, said his vehicle broke down, promised to come back this week. We have numerous issues that need his attention. We're looking forward to a successful fundraising event and hope to have more over the summer months. Thank you all for your continued support. Kathleen Myers, Director, Historian.
Thanks, Kyle. Sam?
I gave Joyce, for Parks and Recreation, we gave Joyce some flyers that have a QR code for GoFundMe. As I've mentioned, we're trying to do these natural parks instead of just using the old play equipment, trying to keep that up to date. We will need grant funding, so we're trying to raise funds, then we can do matching grants. I've also got a contractor that said that they're 100% willing to donate time, equipment, things like that. So Autumn Brookmeyer is trying to get all of this together. Thank you to anybody that has already donated through GoFundMe. We really appreciate that. It's on Facebook. We have the Town of Shandaken's Parks page that Joyce created for us. We also have a Trex bench competition. The schools have done this before, and we figured since it's the summer, it might be a good idea for us to do that. Trex is a company that does mostly like decking, and it's really weather resistant. So we figured it would be a good opportunity to collect different sorts of plastics. So there's a list of what can be donated. We have bins right now in the the Pine Hills Library, and we also have one in the gas station in Phoenicia. Yeah.
And out here.
Oh, she
It's
did?
out, yeah, she put it on Joe's desk.
Great.
Joe helped in everything. It's cool.
Perfect. So Autumn will be collecting that monthly. Again, there's information on what kind of things can be donated in those. So like your water bottle cases coming in plastic wrapping, don't just throw that out. Please bring it to one of our collection sites. We'll be collecting it monthly or more if we need to. And if we get a certain amount of plastic, the Trex company will donate a bench, and we figured one of our parks could use that. We also are trying to do these cleanup weekends, the second and fourth Saturday of the month. Keep an eye out on the Facebook page to see where we'll be. We're hoping to be at Smith Park for this coming Saturday. We have to get that together a little bit more, but we have a meeting tomorrow to discuss some of the details and some of the things that the volunteers can do on those days. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the food insecurities amongst the kids at the summer camp. And not having enough food and such. I know Ulster Savings Bank was kind enough to donate $500. So the town will receive that, and then they'll do some food shopping for some of those kids that aren't able to come with food or money to purchase food during the day. So anyone else I think that would be interested to donate, either let me know, contact Joyce or Manny Jean-Pierre is the director of the camp, and she's very aware of the situation. She's been brought to my attention. So just let us know if you're able to donate to that. So I think that's all I got.
Thank you, Sam.
In addition, the first meeting of our Mount Tremper Parks Committee will be this Wednesday, 6 o'clock, right here. And so if you're interested in what's going to happen with that park, feel free to come.
Yeah.
Pay attention to us.
Thanks, Kevin.
Also, since you brought up about the summer rec program, the applications for the summer rec program are on the website and on the Facebook page, and we have them in our office too.
Okay.
So, and the other thing is Friday, we're gonna do a cleanup of the museum in the morning, 9 o'clock. If anybody wants to come and help, we're gonna be there with our weed whackers. Just, we do have a local guy that does landscaping, who's gonna donate a lot of materials to us, but we just need people to pull weeds, and we wanna get it cleaned up. And I have pictures to show you. It's kind of overgrown. It's stuff we could all do.
Friday morning?
This Friday morning. So I'll be there, Teresa will be there, and Kathy. I think they have a meeting, so they can help too.
Thanks, Joyce. Beth, CAC update.
The microphone. Because they can't hear you at home if you don't talk. You're not
The
loud.
CAC is proceeding with our priority items. We have applied for a grant to create a food waste collection point here at Town Hall, and we'll find out in July. And I think we're working on another grant for that project, as well as we've done some preliminary research on EV charging, and met with some consultants, selected some possible locations, and we've been advised that, when the grant, the DEC EV charging grant is available, that's our best course for funding. I'm very supportive of what Autumn's doing with the plastic film collection. This is all the little bags they give you to put your produce in.
Bread bags? Bread bags too, right?
Bread bags, toilet paper bags, any kind of plastic that can stretch, but not bags like dog food or
Yeah.
compost or topsoil or, mulch. Those bags are not eligible.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. Mary, anything? Okay, okay.
There you go.
All right, public comments on resolutions.
Resolution 80, you're applying for a CFA for Main Street grant for 20,000. Is that for the administrative costs only? Because 20,000 seems fairly low if it's supplying for a number of businesses.
Oh, no, that's just the administrative part. Yeah, yeah, it's
the
each,
application for the grant fee, the administrative costs to
Right.
apply for the grant.
right. Each of them can get up to 50,000 matching grant. Each of the applicants
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the final grant.
in a
This
final
is-
grant.
This
Right.
is a grant, Robert.
Right.
This is a grant to apply for the.
Correct. This is the,
cost of apply.
the technical assistance. This is for the technical assistance.
Secondly, the Reg 7623, the cost of the busing. Is there any, don't like being able to
We put it out,
Yeah.
yeah, and took bids, or not bids, but we took, Barb called around, and only 2 people supplied. Well, I guess we could have opened it here, but it was,
Well, it's the way it's typically
yeah,
done. Here, so we can see the costs and know how to pay it.
yeah. What was the cost for Tanchi?
Tanchi was 8,000.
8,000.
And they couldn't go any lower. We
Right.
even called them and asked them because they were in the town. And we deal with them a lot. And he called back like 3 days later and said, I don't know how they're giving you that.
Well, that's what that's supposed to
Yeah,
stop, is calling people back and forth.
Right, yeah,
Like they're supposed to do a closed bid.
yeah.
And this $299 a day works out to $5,000 against the 8?
4,800.
4,800.
Because it's 16 times.
4,784.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Second one there.
Yep. Any other questions on resolution? All right, let's get started.
For the other resolution for housing, I thought that already appointed.
Yeah, I thought you were too. Joyce threw it in there.
No,
but-
you're appointed for the county liaison. Nobody put that in there. Usually at the meeting, they decide who's going to do it, and then we do it the next
It's all
week.
the encompassing.
We're making sure everyone knows it's you.
You're going to be super appointed.
It's
We're going to have the same one next
You
month as
again.
well, just to make sure.
it's still you.
You don't forget?
Well, another for the parking lot, just like big thumbs up because doing the park, like having all the vendors for the farmers market, let's say, that's just one of many things that happen at the Pine Hill Community Center, which is just one of many things that happen in Pine Hill. But I know it was hazardous, it was icy, it was muddy, and it would just track all of that into the center. And I can imagine people. who
This will be
live
so
there-
much better.
Yeah, and if you live in Pine Hill and you've dealt with that parking lot, I can only imagine how annoying that was, but also hazardous, and, there's a lot of people from Pine Hill
Yeah.
here, and so.
Well, Eric and I also have a meeting with CWC trying to figure out if we can get maybe a little money for some of the drop inlets in the parking lot for drainage.
Yeah, because I know under the community center, all of the floorboards are rotting, and like all of the water from the parking lot basically goes under the center.
In part and parcel, we're gonna have to figure all that out, even though it's a private land owner, as opposed to us being the public. We have to work out if there's something, somebody should get in the basement of the community center and find out if there's a clog there or is the clog somewhere further on.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
My name is Jan Albert. I'm on the board of the Pine Hill Community Center. And I just want to echo what you just said. I feel like I'm taking my life in my hands. After it rains, the parking lot is like deluged. I don't know why it eroded so badly. But I'm very concerned because later in the summer, we're going to have lots of little kids running around on one side of the parking lot, which is next to the center. We have many elderly members. I worry about, our 88-year-old members who come in. It's, something's going to happen someday. And I just want to know, do you have any kind of time frame for, you talked about getting a surveyor to come and give their opinion about who owns what around the parking lot. Is there any kind of time frame
That should be done within the month, and within the month we should know also, if what funding is going to be. Eric has done a lot of legwork already about costs and what is needed. It's just tying some loose ends up, but I think within a month or two it should be.
The repaving should happen?
That's what we're hoping for.
That would be outstanding.
That's our goal.
Kenny has it in the highway schedule for the summer, so.
Yep.
That's good. And we were told also that some kind of storm drainage grate was going to be put in as part of the renovation of parking.
We're gonna put, because we're doing the grading, we're gonna try and get the storm drains in and ready to go somewhere, but it does have to go somewhere. And there's no place for it to go yet. So that's all part of the planning process.
Just to let you all know, we've spent the last 3 years fundraising and slowly building a pollinator's garden in the backyard that will be used to teach kids about the creatures that live in this world we dominate.
Yes.
And what they can grow, giving them a chance to learn how to garden. We're going after grants for that. So when we put in our little patio back there, we took a lot of care, that we would not be causing our neighbors any water runoff more than had already been. So please do consult with us and let us know where you're at.
Okay.
We would appreciate that so much.
We'll do.
Thanks.
You got it. Anyone else? Angel.
All right, I have a question disguised as an idea. So, when you're serving the parking lot, and part of that parking lot belongs to kind of the community center, is it possible for the town to sort of, in a way, come to some kind of mutual agreement that maybe the part that does not belong to the municipality pay for it, and then maybe the community center can pay for that paving that's already?
We will be definitely in conversation with the Pine Hill Community Center. There's interactions that we have to get down on paper.
Yeah, we're not gonna pave everything but the 14 feet of the community center.
I think we should. Yeah.
No, we're not.
And those conversations are ongoing, so.
Mary.
Just because we're on the subject, I'd like to point out that I was leaving the community center yesterday and twisted my ankle in the parking lot, and it is sprained. So I just want you to know.
Okay.
It could have been worse. It's horrible out there.
And it could have been better.
No, it is, well, anybody who's used the parking lot knows how bad a situation it is. And like when you have children running around, you can't stop them from running every minute.
Yep.
And, we have a number of older members, as I said, and I just have bad eyes. So I creep across the parking lot, praying, my shoes aren't too slippery.
Yeah.
So it is a bad situation. And we We don't want anybody.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just share my personal story. I'm very happy that it's being paved. I was once carrying my laundry across it after it rained. I was wearing Crocs, which was a mistake. I stepped in a puddle that I didn't see, which like the Croc filled with puddle of mud, and then I fell and dropped my clean laundry in the puddle. It was terrible. So I'm very excited. But I do have a question. So the memorial that's in front of the parking lot, and then the sidewalk that's on the street side, is that going to be repaved? Because I think over the winter it got a little busted up, and I'm curious if that's included in the survey.
Well, we're just dealing with the parking lot right now. There's a lot of controversy with the memorial, things we would love to see, some of us would and some of us wouldn't. So all those things need to be worked out, and we don't want it to hold up paving the parking lot and just getting some pavement down there, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that. The sidewalks, if we replace the sidewalk, they have to be ADA compliant, and that would jack up the whole flow of Main Street. So that's a separate project for another time.
Yeah.
But like Pete said, we are going to be installing preemptive stormwater retrofit so that when Main Street is done, and we are working on that, it can be tied in. So that piping drainage that'll be going in is not going to be functional right off the bat. But it's part of a larger plan Eric has kind of formulated, and Pete's on board. I think everybody at the dais here is on board with that. So.
Anybody else? All right, let's start it off, Kev.
Resolution 7223, resolution to pay all bills. Whereas the Department of Audit and Control require town boards to sign and inspect all vouchers coming into town for payment to number and total amounts from each fund. Therefore, be it resolved, the town board authorize the following vouchers paid. General, $310,487.70. Highway, $515.60. Phoenicia Water, $11,800.50. Pine Hill Water, $5,725.80. Phoenicia Lights, $1,489.43. Chichester Lights, $195.25. Pine Hill Lights, $816.55. Shandaken Septic Maintenance District, $843.40, for a total of $331,875.23, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Barcom?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution number 73-23, adopting Town of Shandaken Local Law number 4 of 2023, a local law to amend local law number 2, senior citizen exemption. Whereas the Town of Shandaken wishes to amend local law number 2-2023, senior citizen exemption adopted February of 2023. Whereas the Town of Shandaken Town Board wishes to change the residency requirement from 24 months to 12 months. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken Town Board does hereby adopt local law number 4 of 2023, senior citizen exemption to reflect residency requirement of 12 months, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Barcom?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes. Resolution 7423, again appoint Housing Smart Committee Chair. Whereas under Section 20 of the Town Law, the Town Board shall designate and appoint all officers and employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved that the following personnel be appointed as Town of Shandaken Housing Smart Committee Chair. Sophie Grant at no compensation. Move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes, again.
Steen?
Yes.
Van Barcom?
Yes.
DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution 75-23, resolution appointing summer recreation personnel, whereas under Section 20, notes of Decision 9 of the Town Law, the Town Board shall appoint all employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Shandaken appoints the following personnel: Manuela Jean-Pierre, Summer Rec Director, $700 weekly. Assistant Director, do we have a...
We don't.
No name for that?
Not yet.
To be appointed later. Rayla Hart, Recreation Specialist at $350 per week for the purpose of coordinating and managing the Town of Shandaken Summer Recreation Program to run from Wednesday, July 5th, 2023 through and including Friday, August 11th, 2023, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Barcom?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution number 76-23, resolution authorizing contract with First Student Transportation. Whereas the Town of Shandaken Summer Recreation Program runs from Wednesday, July 5th, 2023 through and including Friday, August 11th, 2023. Whereas transportation is needed from Mount Tremper to Bel Air Beach and back later in the afternoon, 3 days each week, except the 2 days of field trips. Total needed 16 days. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken Town Board authorizes the town supervisor to enter into agreement with First Student Transportation, 3146 Route 28, Shokan, New York, at $299 per day in order to provide said transportation for those dates for program participants and employees, and move its adoption.
Second.
So we need to add High Mount or Pine Hill, wherever the other, to Bel Air, High Mount,
Yeah.
Bel Air, however you want to word that. I'll just put that in there.
Yeah, Phoenicia, Shandaken,
Yeah, just from those endpoints.
High
Who seconded
Mount. High Mount.
it? Yeah, Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Barkum?
Yeah.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution 7723, a resolution authorizing contract for use of Bel Air Beach and Shandaken Summer Recreation Day Camp. Whereas the Town of Shandaken operates a summer recreation day camp for the benefits of its residents, and whereas the camp will operate daily from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. on Wednesday through Friday from July 5th, 2023 through August 11th, 2023, and whereas the Bel Air Day Use Area is a local attraction that annually hosts our camp, and whereas the Olympic Regional Development Authority, ORDA, currently operates the beach, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken Town Board authorize the town supervisor to enter into an agreement with ORDA to operate the camp at the beach for the 2023 summer season and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Barkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution number 78-23, resolution advertising for transportation bids for summer recreation program field trips. Whereas the Town of Shandaken Summer Recreation Program will be taking 2 field trips during the coming season, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken Town Board advertise transportation bids for the following field trips.
Field trips.
2 buses for round trip to and from Intrepid Museum, New York City, Wednesday, 7/26/23. 2 school buses for round trip to and from Zoom Flume, East Room, New York, Wednesday, 8/9/23. All bids must be received by July 3rd, 2023 at 3 p.m. at the Town Clerk's Office, Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 Route 28, Shandaken, New York, 12480, to be awarded at a Town Board meeting that night at 7 p.m. and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Barkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes. Resolution 7923, resolution supporting 4th of July parade. Whereas the 4th of July is a national holiday celebrating the birth of our nation and our independence, and whereas the Town of Shandaken has always been supportive of community events that bring us together to celebrate, and whereas the community is again coordinating the 4th of July parade for 2023, therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Shandaken supports the 4th of July parade to be held Monday, July 4th at 11 a.m., Main Street, Phoenicia, New York. All are welcome to attend and participate, and I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Barkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Question. Sorry, I know to post this is unorthodox. Is it Monday or July 4th?
What?
It's
Monday's
July.
July 3rd.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
this is from the old
Tuesday,
stuff.
July 4th.
Tuesday,
Okay.
thank you.
We just discussed
That's
the
why
meeting.
we're all here.
We
We
did.
get all
Yep.
this now.
But wait, so the parade is Monday?
No,
parade
Tuesday. Tuesday.
No, I think it's the 2nd.
Sunday.
He's gonna have it on Sunday? I haven't even heard from him. So Sunday, July 2nd.
Sunday the 2nd.
We support it.
Whatever day it
We'll
is.
support, oh, forget it then, we're not supporting that.
Yes.
Well, we have to, I haven't even.
Independence
he
Day
didn't even
parade.
ask me. He didn't even say anything, so usually he's in my office by now.
Ever the diplomat.
I'll find out, we'll put the correct date on the. Are you reading an email from Ben?
I support
doubt it.
daily parades for the entire month.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Second? All right, Sunday the 2nd. All right.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Glad you're here.
Resolution 80-23, resolution by the Town of Shandaken improving and endorsing the MARC Project, Inc. in its application to New York State Homes and Community Renewal for funding under the New York Main Street Technical Assistance Program. Whereas the MARC Project desires to apply for $20,000 in financial assistance through the 2023 CFA under the New York State Technical Assistance Program, and whereas the application proposed funding to assist property owners to plan for building renovations to downtown Main Street buildings on Main Street, whereas the grant application requires that the applicant obtain the approval and endorsement of the governing body of the municipality in which the project will be located. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken approves and endorses the 2023 New York Main Street Technical Assistance application for the hamlet of Pine Hill and moves its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen? Board Member
Yes.
Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeSclafani?
Yes.
Resolution number 81-23, approve a climate education and engagement strategy. Whereas the Town of Shandaken pledged to take part in the New York State DEC Climate Smart Community Certification Program that includes the preparation of a climate change education and engagement strategy, and whereas a climate change education and engagement strategy is a document that outlines a communication and engagement plan for climate change mitigation and climate change adaptation.
Yeah, you got it.
Whereas a completed climate change education and engagement strategy counts towards climate smart communities certification, specifically 1 PE9 action, climate change education and engagement, and whereas Shandaken's Conservation Advisory Council has prepared and reviewed a climate change education and engagement strategy consistent with the Climate Smart program. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Shandaken Town Board hereby approve a climate change education engagement strategy, and be it further resolved, the municipal board authorizes submission of these documents to the New York State DEC Office for Climate Change for consideration of points toward Climate Smart Communities certification for the Town of Shandaken, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeSclafani?
Yes.
Resolution 82-23, a resolution to authorize the supervisor for the Town of Shandaken to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Ulster County Sheriff's Office pertaining to the transfer of custody of arrestees for arraignment for the Ulster County Centralized Arraignment Part located at the Ulster County Law Enforcement Center. Whereas New York State law allows counties to create off-hours centralized arraignment parts, CAP courts, in quotations, to facilitate timely court processing and an individual's right to counsel at first appearance after arrest. And whereas CAP courts aim to foster efficiency and ease logistical and administrative burdens by assigning off-hour arraignments to local criminal court judges according to a rotating predetermined schedule. And whereas CAP courts ensure that a judge within the county is always available to handle an arraignment. And whereas the Ulster County Magistrates Association, UCMA, has approved the creation of CAP Court in Ulster County, Ulster CAP Court, and submitted a proposal to the Honorary Gerald W. Connolly, Administrative Judge, New York State 3rd Judicial District for approval. And whereas the 3rd Judicial District is in the process of approving both the plans and the protocol for the Ulster CAP Court to be located at the Ulster County Law Enforcement Center, the UCLEC. And whereas the Ulster County Legislature has approved the funding for the assignment of court clerks and a public defender to be available for Ulster CAP Court. And whereas a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, attached as Exhibit A is now required to be executed between each municipality with a police agency located in Ulster County and the Ulster County Sheriff's Office. And whereas the MOU will permit the UCSO to take custody of the arrestees of a police agency and temporarily house the arrestee within the UCLEC. And whereas the USCO agrees to safely and securely maintain custody of these individuals under the terms and conditions of the MOU. And whereas the Ulster County CAP Court shall assure consistency and representation as well as the after-hours schedules of the city, town, and village justices. And whereas the Ulster County CAP Court will result in a more efficient and effective police agency by removing the burdensome and time-consuming task of attempting to recruit a local judge and public defender to perform the after-hours arraignment. And whereas the Ulster County CAP Court will allow the members of the police agency to be more quickly returned to other duties once the arrestee has been processed and transferred to the UCSO. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken hereby authorize the supervisor to execute the MOU and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeSclafani?
Yes.
Resolution 83-23, use ARPA funding, replace Pine Hill Municipal Parking Lot. Whereas Congress adopted the American Rescue Plan Act in March 2021, ARPA, which included $65 billion in recovery funds for cities across the country. And whereas the town of Shandaken received ARPA monies in the amount of $307,811.55. And whereas the town board of the town of Shandaken has identified the municipal parking lot in Pine Hill as in need of a drastic infrastructure upgrade. And whereas infrastructure upgrades are an eligible use of ARPA monies, therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Shandaken approves spending ARPA funds for the regrading and replacing of the Pine Hill municipal parking lot, and be it further resolved that such spending is not to exceed an amount of $40,000. And move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Well done.
We really appreciate your attention to this.
Let's wait until after it's paved before you start clapping. Let's let it get paved. Okay, any open public comment time? Anybody want to say something? Yes.
I'll be brief. I'm here
Your
under.
name?
My name is Roz. I live in
Roz.
Pine Hill.
It's for Rob's last name.
First and last.
Yeah.
Roz Stengel.
You're not wanted anywhere, are you?
No, not that I know of.
Fine, no. I just have to put in the, you know.
No, that's fine.
There you
But
go.
I'm here with my Phoenicia Playhouse hat on. You already mentioned the show, but I
Yes.
just want to plug it a little more. We're having a musical. This is the first full season that the Phoenicia Playhouse has had in a few years. So if you haven't been yet this season, this is a great opportunity. We're having 12 shows, so there's really no excuse not to show up. We open June 22nd, which is a Thursday, and then there's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday matinee shows for 3 weeks. So come, it'll be super fun. Dress up. Yeah, see you there.
The Addams Family.
Thank you.
Cool.
State your name.
The audience at home has to hear you.
Hi, I'm Maria Turgeon. I live at 363 Route 42 in Shandaken, and Seema and I are here. I put it on the agenda, or I sent it to Joyce. We have some real issues of traffic on 42. People are, really speeding. They're entering 42 from 28 at 60 miles an hour. Someone almost ran me off the road a couple of weeks ago. So it's really quality of life. It's and it's a residential area. We really have to address the speeding of people going on 42. I live at 363, so it's about a mile and a half from the post office.
Yep.
But it really is a quality of life issue, as well as the 2 abandoned homes on that street. The one directly across from the post office, it's caving in, and then there's one further up on the right. If you've ever gone up 42, you can't miss it. It is a disaster. It's been like that for years, and people are now starting to take the rocks on the foundation, and it's caving in, and I'm sure it's full of vermin and raccoons, and it's just very unsightly, and it should be condemned.
Okay. Grace,
I believe that parcel's been seized by the county for tax sale. So that's as it sits now. And the house across from the post office, that gentleman recently got a building permit to fix up the second floor.
There's now cats underneath that are in there, and I mean, every single day I hear people, because I'm the landlord of the post office, and every single day people tell me that, they can't either, the speed, it's too difficult to even get out of the post office onto the road, because people are just coming down, like, it's.
The traffic I can.
And the other day, I'm walking over to the post office, and, this young girl comes to me, she had snapped the telephone pole in half, literally it was hanging in the middle of the road on the meridian there, and I'm like, out there, she had totaled her car, which is completely fine, but like snapped the pole, so clearly going at a speed that could do that. And then there were, I'm like directing traffic as we were waiting for 911 to come, and people were just barreling through, and I really got to feel firsthand the speed. And in Chichester and Livingston, Lexington, all these other places around, there's a slowdown when you enter a hamlet, especially something that has like a post office. Like, there are
it's a state highway, right? State road?
Yeah.
So we can certainly make a call, try to get a slow down sign or, one of those
Yes.
flashing lights. So. But it's gonna be up to them. If you ask them to lower the speed limit, that typically doesn't go anywhere.
Well, I have been in touch with Sean Ryan, the policeman, because he
Sure.
has been patrolling and going up and down.
Yep.
So there is more of a police presence, but if we could get a sign, a slow down sign with a flag, it's not aesthetically great looking to have those, but I think it would help tremendously.
The flashing light, I'm going to tell you, the flashing light will annoy any of the neighbors around. I have one near me for a stop sign. and
But
it's-
there is, right when you turn in, there's nobody there that would see it. So, I mean,
Okay.
I feel like something has to happen.
Right.
Because we've already had a big accident.
Right.
And, every single day something else is going to happen. There are young kids that live in buildings over there. And, I just cringe when, and you can't even go across to talk to your neighbor because you're literally having trucks flying at you.
Well, Kevin will reach out to Chad and.
Yeah, I mean, I live right on Creekside, so I don't know how much more of a police presence you can have there.
And
They're
I'll
standing
reach out
right
to
there.
DOT for signage and see if we can do something about getting some better signage.
Yeah.
35 and trying to do it, it's not, it's much higher right there on 42.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
It's
County.
Why?
One's a county road.
We're
one's
not
a
state
road.
people. We
No, they're
don't-
both state roads.
they're both state roads.
How would you
Uh,
go about,
They're-
Just
I
as a point
didn't
of
do it.
reference, not to make it sound like more excuse, but for a point of reference, I've been working since before I was on the town board to try and get the slow down sign on 214 near Phoenicia Elementary School. Has anybody seen a slow down sign on 214 in front of Phoenicia Elementary School?
No.
2.5 years, I call several times a month. Emails.
I will do that.
We'll keep doing that. That's what I'm saying.
I just need to know
Everyone
what to do.
should be make loud noise. Will hopefully. It hasn't worked here yet, but I'm
Squeaky
thinking a
wheel.
lot of people calling will work better than just.
If you call me Marie tomorrow, there's a woman in Poughkeepsie. After the woman got killed on 28, when I got in, I called her 5 times and they finally chopped the road on 28. So that was a big thing. Chad called me from Kingston, Joyce, they're chopping the road. That thing where you could go over. She got hit by a drunk driver in the middle of the day. So this woman, if she's still working there, I'll see if it's in my old emails.
Rob.
Yeah, okay.
and one last thing, the house we're talking about on the right on 42, you said, who bought it, the town bought it?
Nobody bought it, it was seized by county for non-payment of taxes.
Okay, so what happens to it?
They sell it at auction, although that auction's been put off indefinitely to my knowledge. You need to call Ulster County Finance to see what their intentions are with those parcels.
Isn't it a health issue? Would it be a Department of Health? Because
The parcel as it sits is county's responsibility, that's all I know.
And the County of Health the Department of Health is county also, so.
Regarding the house across from the post office, there's all these cars and trailers and things right along the street parked on there. It's pretty much just, it's a car graveyard and a falling down house.
Is that on his property?
It is. It's covered in vehicles. And it's ridiculous. It's what people see at Tosa. I mean, that is what they drive out looking at. And they ask me about it. I'm tired of trying to figure out what the heck's going on. We waited a long time.
All I did was clear the permits for zoning purposes. The floodplain was issued by Peter Donna, issued the building permits. I don't know if either of them have done site visits and noticed those cars. I certainly am not aware of them. I can go look.
I think so. I mean, I have to fill out the permits when I do anything to the post office. That just feels ridiculous and not, it's just.
Yeah, we were hoping it was going to get better because he just applied for a building permit.
We put a roof on, we watched him put a roof on, and that's it. Now there's cats underneath there. There's still vehicles everywhere. It's just ridiculous.
Okay.
Rob.
So a couple of years ago, we had a conversation with DOT when we were doing our LFA, and there was conversations about reconfiguring the intersection. And I can tell you as a kid growing up there, riding my bike through there, seeing car accidents and knowing what happens, I think the easy solution is tee the intersection because it's an off-ramp. So when people come at 50, they can just, I see it in Pine Hill. You come off and peel off and people come at 50 down into a 25-mile-an-hour zone. But they have time to slow down. You're immediately in the Hamlet zone. I think the T is the solution, similar to what happened in Mount Tremper, where they took that off-ramp off and
it's surprising they didn't do it when they replaced the bridge there.
It's been that way since
But also,
it's always been a challenge.
I was exiting, going speed limit, and there's no yield sign on the one entry, which is super unsafe. So
That's really crazy.
We'll make some calls.
Yeah.
We have to think about it every time we leave our house, so every single person who comes to the post office has to really think about it. There's gonna be an accident.
Yep. Got it.
Okay.
I got a letter here I'd like everybody to read.
It doesn't go that high.
I'm Teddy Byron, Chief of Phoenicia Fire District. I think most of you know me.
Thank you.
So, I don't know if you guys have heard this or not with this letter.
You read it, go ahead.
So, this letterhead, you can see, is Phoenicia Fire District. So, it ends up, we did not write this letter. It was written by the town clerk. And everything on this letter is false. And it's making the fire department and ambulance look very bad. I've had people call me about it. So this is to inform you that the Shandaken, this is to do with the old senior citizen place in Phoenicia, up on the hill. So the Shandaken, as well as Phoenicia Fire District, do not have the proper heating in their possession. Why the fire department and ambulance has anything to do with their heating. If they have a problem with the heating up there when there's no power, you call the Red Cross. They'll bring some blankets or whatever. So that's also the fire district's called Village Apartment at the Maria Drive in Phoenicia several times to request information of the ambulatory residents, oxygen users that live there, but the manager would not provide us with the information. That's false, because every time I call her, she gives me that information. It might be my fault, and I'll take my fault, I'll blame myself. I might not have gone recently to get it. So, but she gives it to me every time I call her. The other thing is fire drills are required by law. There is no law saying we gotta do fire drills. We have requested numerous times over many years to provide fire drills, but the site manager has said we cannot force them out of the building, which has no substance in law. So basically, we refused our services with the New York State Provide fire drills. So the fire drills are done by them. It has nothing to do with us. What this letterhead is doing is attacking one person up there, the manager. And I do not, the Phoenicia Fire District does not want this letterhead to be picking on people in the town trying to work. You know, they got 20 people, whatever, 15, 20 people up there. There's gonna be people unhappy. They've been coming to Joyce complaining. So I understand, but you cannot be attacking a person here cannot be attacking one person. And to write our letterhead and put the Phoenicia Fire District in this is completely wrong. What I would think should happen is the town clerk mail these out to I don't know how many people.
No, I did not.
Well, I don't know how they
Well,
got
when
them.
you're done, I'll do my side, okay? Go ahead.
Okay, good,
Finish
but
up.
how did they get the letters then?
I have no idea.
Well, I didn't get it.
I have one letter. When you're done.
Okay, well, someone gave letters out. It just mysteriously happened. So I think the town clerk needs to write a letter saying to these people that she did mail it to, that this is all untrue. And as a Phoenicia Fire District, you know, we're not promoting this right now. So I think that would be a solution. I've had people call me saying they want to sue the people involved in this letterhead. So it'll be Ernie, town clerk. It was even notarized. So, I mean, it could be the notary could be sued too, because this is completely false.
Yeah.
And I'd like something done about it, because it's just not right. And,
Okay.
I don't know what can be done, but I think a letter should be written and sent to the people that need to have the letter.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so my rebuttal. The seniors came to me in about April. No, why not?
Okay.
April, some seniors came to me asking for help at the village apartments. There were concerns about certain things. One of the things was that, are you gonna sit down, Ken? Thank you. One of the things was that, okay. One of the things was that during an outage 5 years ago, and this is what they actually wrote back. I got a senior advocate to help them, because I can't, really do that. So the senior advocate got 9 people to sign a petition. One of the issues was this. There's other issues up there, many people know, whatever. So they wrote they'd like a generator, some kind of backup heat, because 4 years ago there was an outage for 4 days of no heat. And some people got out of there and some didn't. There's 30 people up there, about 20-something people were there freezing for 4 days. All they had was blankets and everything else. They wrote back after our advocate sent this letter of all these complaints that these 9 people signed a petition in a legal manner with an advocate. They wrote back, and I'll quote you, "Facts will show during the last 4-day outage 5+ years ago, the local fire department provided heaters, hot food, and transportation to all residents." He said, we've tried to ask the fire department for fire drills and all this, and we've gotten no fruition. So in other words, she's dissing on our fire department. They're saying that they brought this up to them. So Ernie Longy, who is a second captain with the fire department, I've known this man for many years, whatever you are. You're up there. I see you quite frequently. I would trust this man with my life. He knows what goes on in this town for over 10 years. So I said, Ernie, so Peggy, the advocate, says, "Joyce, is this true?" I go, "I don't think so, but let me ask somebody." So I call Ernie, the go-to guy. He works for fire department and ambulance. What did you say, Ernie? Excuse me, it's my turn.
why wouldn't you call me?
I wouldn't think of you. I
know
never
that,
see
you
you.
have no respect.
I have no respect for you, and I'll tell you later why.
I can
I'm not going to
understand
put it
why.
on public TV.
You should. Put it up. Bring it up.
I lost respect for you when I saw you flagging down on 28 for the filming with no orange vest, no cones, no signage, and a stupid little stop sign
That's what they gave
with it was the state. You could have
Guys,
said
can we,
that.
come on,
This
come on.
really
Come
is
on.
not-
All right.
Let me put it, I was not fire department. I was getting paid to be there.
Then you were
So-
doing a poor job getting paid for it.
Yeah, you were probably one of the ones we got problems with.
Yeah, okay.
Come on.
Go ahead, Ernie. I asked
She's
you why.
making excuses for
I-
something that she did wrong.
I did
And
not
if
do anything
everybody
wrong,
sits
and
here
I would do it
listens to
again.
this,
And-
it's only gonna get worse.
Ernie, I asked Ernie to sign it. I said, Ernie, is that true? Tell your story. I asked if it was true. Did they have heaters?
This is not town
This isn't.
town
not
board
their
meeting.
business, so
This
it's
is
not
this
my
is
board,
not
so-
the business of a town board.
Yeah.
The town clerk does
So-
not respond or report to
Right.
the board.
It's
Yeah.
It's an independent elected position. We
I
don't
asked.
have any
I know.
authority.
I'm sorry I got hot, but when it comes to the senior stuff and then lying about our fire department,
This isn't town
I asked him
business.
for the story and he told me. He wrote it up for us.
Okay,
And we got it
Joyce.
notarized.
Okay.
All right, sorry.
Pete, can I put one thing? This is not the first time this has happened. She needs to learn that I am in charge of the fire department. She needs to come to me. You need to go to Chuck if there's a problem in Big Indian. You need to go to Orville if there's a problem in Pine Hill. I get, not people calling me, showing me this letter, complete wrong.
Okay.
How would you like if I have to talk to someone?
Okay.
I have to write a letter. Oh, I'm just gonna make a town clerk letterhead and give it to the person.
Well, it was a nice letter.
No.
It was very nice. I couldn't
No.
find one you
This
wrote.
is really, this is not town board
All right.
business.
It's
This is
not.
not town board
All
business.
right, so I will go to you.
This is not town board business. If you have a dispute with the clerk is an independent elected position. We have no authority here.
It's wrong. And I can't believe you guys are sitting here not saying nothing.
It just
We
isn't
can't-
this isn't town board
This
business.
isn't our business.
Bob,
Really, not about this.
Scott, please, but I agree, it is not town board business. It should not be taken care of as a township, as a personal thing, she can do that. But the problem here is that she took an organization's letterhead, forged a letter to put forth an idea representing them. That is a town board issue, even though she's an independent elected official. That's a clear ethics violation, clearly, and it needs to be addressed to her by the town board, as you see fit. I'm not saying right here, right now, but it is a town board issue, ultimately.
It will be dealt with.
I think we're going to have to all have a discussion on how to proceed with this. I think that's the next step. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, no.
Okay, very good.
But it's certainly not going to be discussed in public.
Not this evening either.
Any other public comments? Angel?
Speed bumps.
Speed bumps.
She stood up first, Angel, sorry.
I just have a quick announcement. On the 14th of June, the Pine Hill Community Center is going to host a free healthcare as a human right clinic from 4 to 7. So come.
Thank you.
A nice little note just to finish. I'd like to give kudos to Kathleen at the museum. Like, she started this Guess Who game, and as a local, I really appreciate it. It's really fun seeing some of these old photos of folks I grew up around as being adults and seeing them when they were younger and trying to guess who they are. So just kudos to her and the museum for doing that, promoting it. And I know she good job.
Great.
No, I already did. I think the issue of 42, that's a county road.
It's a state road.
State road, we can't do
Yeah.
it.
So 80 speed bumps may be a little bit of a solution.
Yeah, they would never do speed bumps.
Yeah, they don't do speed bumps.
I think it might cause more. I'm not a person to speak on this, but that might cause a couple more problems than just. It might cause more accidents, is what I'm trying to say.
For what it's worth, and it will almost assuredly take multiple communications, but I liaise with the scenic byway, and the DOT often has a representative there. I'll obviously bring this up to them. Again, I think our history with the DOT is that it takes communications from everyone in the town 4 times over, but I believe there's a scenic byway meeting in perhaps a week and a half, so I'm certainly happy to bring that up there.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question about the speed limit? It's a state road, so how do you go about, probably would take 50 years, reducing the speed limit? So reducing the 55 on 42 to 45, and the entry, if there's not a T, or if that's not corrected, the entry in onto 42 from 28 is now 45. How would you get that reduced to 35? I mean, how does that happen?
Well, we would basically, the town board would go to the county, put in a request to them. They would request to because they are the main go-to with the DOT. Although I talked to them and all, and I could put in the request. It's a lengthy process. They have to do a study first, and so it could be a couple of years, but it could get going.
Right.
With no guarantees, of course. Sophie.
So, Sophie Grant, Fox Hollow. Yes. Okay.
Not related.
No relation. Farmers Market in Phoenicia has been amazing the last 4 weeks. If you haven't been, I think I've seen a lot of people in this room, but encourage everybody to come out. We're open 10 to 2 every Sunday, rain or shine. And we have our SNAP program. You bring your EBT card, you get double the spending, up to $50. So if you have $50, you can get $100 to spend at the farmer's market on eligible items, which is 90% of the things that are available. And we also give you additional market bucks, which is our currency that we made up, and it's funded by local sponsors, one of whom Ulster Savings sponsored our last farmers market, which was amazing. Thank you, Ulster Savings.
And we're still accepting more sponsors for that. Any local businesses who want to become sponsor of the week later in the season are welcome to do so. And speaking of traffic and preventing any bad accidents, you know, we're doing everything that we can to make sure that there's parking at the Phoenicia Supermarket during the hours of the farmers market. The road is clear and free of obstruction. We're encouraging people to park along Main Street if they can, which hopefully also benefits other local businesses in the hamlet. But I do think at some point, as summer continues to swell in population and visitors, we might eventually need some help in managing the traffic. And I don't know exactly how to go about that, but I got only one complaint in our 2.5 seasons from someone who was concerned about the intersection. Some people that park maybe like slightly too close to the corner and visibility. And so I don't know what that looks like. For now, we just have volunteers. You know, it does take a lot of power, human power, to like make the market run, and we're entirely volunteer led. So I don't know if there's any other people out there who want to volunteer, but I also don't know if it's even allowed for us to manage traffic in any capacity. So putting the question out to you fine folks, because I don't want it to come back to us that this fabulous event that we're hosting is also causing some kind of hazard. So trying to be proactive in that
Did you check
manner.
with Harry was open to letting you use his parking lot.
Is he open to us using his parking lot? Well,
Contact him though. He's not gonna
yes.
jump out of the woods and get you. You gotta call him.
I
He
could
was
maybe
open to
call
the
him.
idea. He was very interested.
I mean, then that's just like that many more people who are crossing Main Street. So it's
I
not,
think they're adults. They can figure it out. But I think
okay,
that
so if
parking
and when
lot
something,
would be
as long as
good.
it doesn't come back to the farmer's market that we caused
But it's
something.
It's a big area for you to park, and it would
Yeah.
alleviate a lot of the problems in
Yeah.
town.
All
As far
right.
as directing traffic, I'll talk to Jay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. I just don't, you know, especially like 4th of July parade or Independence Day parade on Sunday, July 2nd, the farmer's market will be open. The parade ends at the farmer's market in Parish Field, essentially. So it's going to be a bustling, beautiful day. I know there will be police presence and things like that on that day, but on any other day where we just have a lot of people in town, we just want to make sure everyone's safe and secure. So if anyone wants to come down and volunteer at the market, we'll give you some market bucks. You could get some, you know, greens or donuts or whatever your thing is. But yeah, 10 to 2 Sundays. Come support. Come hang out. It's really fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. All right, we're going to wind down. Going to adjourn the meeting in the memory of Helen Commodora, Audrey Taylor, Mary Bazowski, Dolores Rotella, and Chris Raptis. Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Have a good June.